But they're actually taking it even further than that. Now we're starting to see all the social elements come together, because just recently, a few weeks ago, we put in the ability for them to build cooperatively together. So what they cheated to do during alpha to create the mega claim, now that they can do a lot of that legally. So they get together and they build together on the same claims, and they're able to do all this cool stuff, and it's getting better and better. And then when we add in the AI templating and we add in the dungeon mastering tools, and oh my God, when the PvP stuff is in, people will be able to build all these battlegrounds and everything like that, and be able to like set up rules and be able to pitch a fight against one guild against another guild. That stuff is going to just kind of bring all of this stuff that people are doing right now into to life. And then when we combine it with Player Studio, it all really starts to come together.
Yeah, my apologies. That video was actually by Tobrin Ernwood, not by Andrew, who also did a very similar video. And I think we were just trying to pick which one we had to show during this stream real quick. But so sorry about that, Tobrin.
Sorry, Tobrin.
Yeah, sorry. But yeah, I mean, what's incredible is how quickly all of this stuff has started happening. And we're coming to you from Twitch, obviously. If you can see this, you're on Twitch. But we really view Twitch as one of the primary places that we can talk about this game and show this game.
Absolutely.
For example, every week we do a show called Landmark Live, which is on our channel, which is Landmark Game, twitch.tv/Landmark Game. And it's every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific. And every week we have we highlight some of the player creations, like all of the stuff that we just showed. We get hundreds and hundreds of screenshots a week from people. All the cool stuff that they make. We answer questions. We talk about what's in the latest updates and where the game is going. And I think what's really important too, maybe we can talk a little bit about we launched this game in alpha to our community.
Right.
Why did we do that?
Oh well, most of the time when you test a game, traditional game development, you basically build it and you go through alpha. Alpha's internal. It's kind of usually not really that impressive. It's just a bunch of stuff to prove to your management that you got some stuff done. And then you go to beta. And then beta is this huge bug hunt, because by the time you get to beta, you don't have time to change anything. So the reason why we opened it up to players in alpha was for two reasons. One of them was so that we could get feedback early enough to be able to actually do something about it. And then the other one was, and this turned out to be fantastic, is that because we were positioning the game, or we're showing the game to players at that point, that meant we had to entertain them from word go, which meant that the alpha itself had to be a standalone entertaining product, and that means that players could get in and start having fun, and then our job has been to entertain them all the way through this process of playtesting. So we're not leaving them with a whole mess of bugs. We're not doing all that other stuff, and the foundation of the game is super, super solid. So as we go forward, we're just making it better and better and better.
Yeah, and I think one of the things, too, that we've said a whole bunch of times is this idea that we really wanted people to help us create this game, the identity of the game, what the game is all about. And that's why we went out in alpha, right? Because in alpha, we can still change things. All the systems are still up for debate. Like we just did a thing where there was an analysis of, what was that Michael Mann was doing on the forums recently. It's like the statistical analysis of like how much it takes to craft various things, and like really, getting into discussion with players like on math. And it's really just amazing to see people, actually have the ability to make suggestions and make the game different and better. So, a lot of our ideas are coming from the players.
Yeah, they are now. It started out, of course, we started with a plan. We had a game design. We knew exactly what we were doing and how many years it was going to take to get completed. And then we got to alpha, and we intentionally stepped back and we said, all right, we're going to keep executing on our plan, but when they find stuff that we need to react to, our plan's got to change. And that's one of the reasons why we haven't announced an open beta date for this game, is because we seriously want the time to react to what we're hearing from the players, and it has already altered our course several times. All of this microvoxel and super microvoxel and all the other crazy building techniques that they've developed, we have to actually find ways to make that intuitive for our players now, and going forward making sure that that's something that everybody can understand right off the bat.
Yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit, right? Because the word microvoxel, for example, is now just part of Landmark players' lexicon.
It is.
But it wasn't part of our original game. It
Not
wasn't
at all.
Part of our engine.
We didn't even know you could do it.
Yeah, and so talk about how that happened.
Well, we started out, we showed people the smoothing tool. And then, of course, there's a lot of them versus us. there's easily 100-to-1 kind of a comparison there, even at the beginning of alpha. And so we had all these incredibly creative, brilliant minds out there working on these tools, and they just eventually found ways to use them that we hadn't anticipated. So one of the first things they did was take a voxel and smooth it a couple of times, and then it made it a very small voxel. That's what they call a micro voxel. And then they started using it, and it turned out that when you duped those things in a line, it made this really cool little thin bar. And from there, they were able to use that to make, pallets and construction and little rebar things and radio antennas. And we were like, where the hell did that come from?
Yeah. Well, one of the things that blew my mind was, when we were internally, talking about Landmark and, we were playing the game and looking at it, there were things that I said, like, hey, we need to be able to build an Eiffel Tower. And it's like, well, the detail level that you need for that is just, we're probably not going to be able to do that.
We had that
right?
exact conversation.
Yeah.
We were like, no, we can't build the Eiffel Tower. Yeah. It's too hard.
Yeah, I was like, these are all the cool things I want. We should just make them to show people. Yeah. And it's like, the Eiffel Tower. No, that's impossible. It's too hard. And now there's a beautiful, beautiful Eiffel Tower that a player
Fantastic.
made. Yeah. And, that wasn't possible before until players actually discovered this stuff in our game. Yeah. And so, I think one of the things that's the coolest about this project is that the players are making the game better by participating in it.
Yeah, we joke about this all the time, but we really strongly feel we're setting everything up, and the reason why we use Twitter and Twitch and all these wonderful mechanisms that didn't used to exist to communicate with our players is we want that feeling of having a 100,000-person dev team. Of effectively all of our players are just down the hall from us, and we're talking to them constantly, trading ideas back and forth. And it really feels like that right now. I'm on Twitter like probably way too much, and we all stream Twitch streams occasionally. You do a regular one, I do a sporadic one, and they're really, really fun. I spend a lot of time watching other people build through Twitch, which is awesome because then you're kibitzing back and forth with people on the chat and everything like that, and it's just been fantastic. It gives us that feeling that we really wanted of working really super closely with our players.
Absolutely, and I think it's one of the things too where and I want to talk about and you guys should definitely follow us on Twitter, like Landmark Game at Twitter is the official account, but at Dave Georgeson, at Omeed. These are our personal accounts, and the same is true, for senior producer Terry Michaels, is Terry J. Michaels, and if you ask us questions or tweet us things, we respond. It's my favorite thing in the world, and not always, Dave trolls people all the time on Twitter, and it's really entertaining to watch. People ask, it's like, hey, when are we going to get this? And it's like, oh, and your account is banned.
I'm sorry, I'm not talking about water.
Yeah, but the fact that, people will send me an idea, say, hey, have you guys thought about this? And we're like, no, we actually hadn't thought about that. Can you send me an email? Tell me what you're thinking here. We get design documents on systems from players.
Yeah, the starting cities in EQN, the claim permissions 2.0 that we're going to do a lot of came from the forums. We get all kinds of suggestions via Twitter constantly about wouldn't it be awesome if we could do this or that. It's also like the best canary in a coal mine thing ever, because anytime anything is wrong in the game, we know about it like picoseconds after it started happening, which is also very cool because that allows us to be incredibly responsive and make sure that the game is always solid.
Yeah, and I think one of the things, we've been calling it an open development process. Yeah. Can you tell us what that means? Why are we doing it this way?
Well, honestly, it's something that we've wanted to do for a long time, but it takes a really courageous company to allow that sort of thing to happen. And we happen to work for John Smedley, who's one of the bravest men in the industry as far as taking chances and doing stuff that nobody else is doing. And so because of that, John let us do a lot of stuff, and he has always had this attitude of being extremely open and honest with the players because he knows that they really respect that. Well, we just decided to go completely open this time, and so we're telling them everything. Like the other day, I had to tell somebody that a feature was going to get delayed because the programmer was sick. And I don't know anybody that does that kind of stuff. I'm like, dude, we'll get it in next week, but today he's out sick. So, that kind of stuff is really cool, and it lets the players understand exactly why we're doing stuff and what we're doing, which allows them to participate in the development of it.
Absolutely. And, what's really interesting to me is, being sort of on the front lines of interacting with people this way, the level of discourse has gone up. It's so much higher than anything I've ever worked on before. because people really respect the fact that we're talking about this stuff. And it's not like marketing speak or PR. Like, you really feel like, it's an authentic conversation.
And they're finally believing us. They're finally believing that we're telling them the truth, and it's really, really fun.
Yeah.
Because once everybody starts working together, well, it's like being on any good team, sports team, work team, whatever it is. When a team clicks and it starts like everybody starts moving forward in the same direction, but yeah, this crazy gizmo is really going to work.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the things, and I think it was a big challenge that we made into an opportunity, is by releasing the game openly in alpha, right? The game was not in any way finished, and it's in closed beta.
Yeah.
And so
we have some major systems to put in.
I've got a really big head, so this thing keeps coming off of it, like exploding out of my headphones. But we've got a long way to go before we're done. Yeah. But it was really risky to actually show a product that's not finished and say, hey, come in here, tell us what's right, tell us what's wrong, tell us what you think, and help us make this game better.
Oh, it was that paranoia that gave us that's why we had an NDA on at the beginning of alpha. And for two reasons. One of them was we were a little bit paranoid about the reaction, whether it was enough game for people to have fun with. And the other one was we were worried it would just fall over and die when we opened it up to a whole bunch of people. But it did neither. It was very, very stable, and people loved it from the word go. So we had the world's shortest NDA.
Yeah, it was less than 24 hours, right?
Yeah. But we had such good reactions from the players, and the stability of the servers was so amazing. We took the NDA off, and it promptly died. So we had a hell of a Friday and Saturday after we opened it up, but then after that, it's been amazingly stable.
Absolutely. And so one of the things that I really love is because we've gone this route of open development, and because we've been engaging people so directly, I think that we've gotten a really incredible community. Like, the community that's been built through alpha and into closed beta is easily the most interesting, most passionate community that I've seen.
Yeah, I can't tell you. I mean, I've been lucky enough to work with some really passionate communities. Tribes 2, PlanetSide, stuff like that. I mean, these people are super passionate about their games. But this kind of creative endeavor where people actually they're constantly one-upping each other and making something better, but not in a competitive sort of fashion. They're actually like one-upping each other in a friendly sort of way and doing co-op build-outs and everything. Yeah, that's gonna we're gonna be reaping the benefits of this kind of community for a long time as we give them more and more and more power to realize the worlds that are in their heads.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I've been really excited to hear is, as we move from alpha into closed beta, obviously a lot more people are coming in. And as we move into open beta eventually, a lot more people are going to come into the game. And so the people who have created this, the alpha and closed beta community, they're very protective of it, and they don't want it to go away because they love it. And they've taken up this message of more people are coming in, and we need to not, close off and be like alpha-only guilds or things like that. We need to go out and we need to set an example and, welcome new people into this game and show them what we think this game is all about.
And that's amazing. I mean, that's the stuff we dream of when we put the games together like this. And it's not just that they're actually helping us with the features and making the features better. I mean, we can't thank them enough for the community that they're putting together.
So I want to talk a little bit about where we are in the process. And so for people who are interested in trying Landmark, what's the best way? Like, how can they get into the game right now?
Well, we have the Founders Packs, and of course there's 3 different sizes of Founders Pack. The one for closed beta that just came out a couple weeks ago is the $20 Settlers Pack. And so that's easy to get into. The reason why we did Founders Packs originally, it wasn't to try to make a profit. We're still in development. We're spending a lot more than we're making. But what we were doing was essentially putting a gate up so that only the people that were super passionate about the game would get in. And one of the reasons why we're lowering the price at each step of the beta process is basically to let more and more people, more kinds of people in, so that we go from the super passionate alpha groups to people that are more casually oriented, so that we can see how they react and we'll grow the game properly as we go.
Yeah, because we want to make sure that as we build this game, we're building it to the audience that's interested in it.
Right.
And that's something that very few games have the luxury of doing.
Right.
Only games that are around for decades typically get to do this sort of thing where, okay, let's adjust to, player to,
Exactly.
like for a console game, right? You ship it and
That's it.
It's done, right?
Yeah.
And so this ability to say, come into our game and tell us what you want to see. Like one of the constant things that is debated is how many tools there are in the game. Right now there's 7. And some people are saying, hey, we want way, way more. And it's really interesting because what we've said is, we may add more tools if it becomes clear that the players need more tools.
But we don't want to.
Yeah.
We want to keep the set of tools down to a small base set that just have an amazing permutation, that you can just keep working with them and keep finding more and more ways to use them, which is how it's working right now. So right now there's a big debate on the community about whether or not we need a cylinder tool. And a lot of people are really passionate. It's too hard to make a cylinder. Always give us a tool. But what we really want to do is make the existing tools make cylinders more easily. That sort of thing. So there's a lot of constant debate about how much is too much, so on and so forth. And just to finish the answer to the question you asked earlier, you asked how people can get in.
Yes.
There's two other groups of people that can get in right now besides the people that buy Founders Packs. One of them is get to know somebody who's a trailblazer. Because there's this one level of Founders Pack that's a trailblazer, and they have keys to give away, so they have permanent keys where you can get into beta. And then there's also if you go and visit Twitch streams, you can there's a lot of them. We're giving away these 1-week beta keys, so you can go onto these Twitch streams and play the little contest that the guys that are running the streams, and they'll give away keys so that you can get in and try it out for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, one of the, we're on Twitch because we're passionate about Twitch, and one of the things that we love about Twitch is that the streamers are very much like modern critics, right?
Oh yeah, they're awesome.
They're the opinion leaders, and there's a couple of them out in the audience, and it's really amazing that, because to me, when I watch a stream, it feels a lot like, when I used to rent a game or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to see what it is before I commit to it.
Yeah.
And so, the people who are talking about it, they're the ones who are advising, hundreds, thousands for some of the streamers on whether they should play this game, whether it's worth their time. And
it's
so,
cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I like watching them just because, I'm playing the game every time I go home. I'm living, breathing, and sleeping this game. So I go there and I basically pull up another monitor. I've got my Twitch stream running, and people are basically playing the game with me in the room. We're corresponding back and forth, and I can see exactly how they're building and stuff, which is awesome. So you get this real sense of a closed community really quickly because you can see everybody that's in those chats is usually also playing the game. And it's just. It's like sitting in a big LAN in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and so one of the things we decided very early on was we wanted to give incentives to the streamers, because we feel that they are, the most important opinion leaders.
Oh, sure,
in our community. And so, we pop in. Dave was saying we'll pop into streams if we see you streaming Landmark and we've got 5 minutes. We'll come into your stream and start, handing out beta keys and stuff like that, and just, chatting with people and answering questions. But we also try to give streamers, beta keys and other giveaways. We even make giveaways. I wouldn't say exclusively, but mostly for streamers. Like, for example, if you watch Twitch streams, you can get an item called the Lunar Anklet. Can you tell us a little bit about what that is?
Yeah, we had the Prime Grappler back in Alpha, which was this really cool, you have a grappling hook where you can spread it out and pull yourself towards an object that you grapple. And we retired the Prime Grappler because that was the Alpha thing. Now we have the Lunar Anklet, which allows you to take these really long, bounding leaps through the air, which is a lot of fun. You'll dig a big, deep hole, and then you'll kind of come up and just bounce right out of it, or be able to bounce from rock to rock across a chasm. It's cool. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, and so, pretty much the only way to get these is either following us on Twitter, and sometimes we just make it rain keys.
Rain.
And we give them out to the streamers to do giveaways on their channel because it helps the streamers.
Right.
And we're really passionate about helping those folks grow their audiences and make Landmark a part of their lives.
So if you want a Lunar Anklet, watch a Twitch stream.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
And we give them out during our live streams as well. And it's really amazing. And the guy Daphonic, right, who's one of our streamers, the guy who did the mega claim, that huge thing. He organized this entire massive building project basically by live streaming. And he's on there. He's like, no, not that. Do it this way. He's drawing when the servers were down. He's drawing sketches of what they're going to build.
Oh yeah, no, it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing how many different ways people are using social media to communicate ideas in Landmark. So I think the last thing I want to talk about before we head out and throw you over to PlanetSide 2, because Matt Higbee is coming up to chat about PlanetSide 2, is what kind of people right now we're in closed beta, right? And we've got a long way to go in the development cycle.
Yeah.
What kind of people want to be playing Landmark right now?
Interesting question. Well, I mean, pretty much everybody, right? Everybody wants to play No, seriously, like if you're interested in helping to develop a game and you really want to be a voice in the early stages, then this is a great time to get involved. People that like adventure or exploration, this is an explorer's paradise because the worlds are huge. They're constantly changing. So even if you go through the same world twice, you're still going to see new things all the time. And then, of course, with combat right around the corner, the adventure seekers and thrill seekers will be right there. Caves are coming in, the water, all of that stuff. So it's just, like I said, it's a fun experience. We're having a lot of good times inside the game, and we're always making sure that the entertainment value is there. So if you want to get in and just enjoy a game, especially in the early stages, and become one of the leaders and the opinion leaders of the game as it goes forward, this is the perfect time for that.
And I think, too, like, not only become an opinion leader, but actually become part of the design team, right?
Yeah.
Like, we just announced on Wednesday a contest called, wait for it, the
Landmarks of Landmark.
Best title ever. But, can you explain this contest a little bit and
Sure.
what we're doing?
Yeah, what we're doing is it's a really cool concept. This is exactly what we wanted to do when we set out to build a voxel world that could be changed and everything like that. What we wanted to do was set up a contest by which people could build these really iconic, cool monuments, and then we're going to run a contest where the players are voting to see which are the most popular. And then we skim off the best results on the top, and we offer those people the opportunity to have those creations permanently in Landmark. When you first start in Landmark, you start at a hub, which is the Wizard Spires that I talked about earlier. And what we're doing is we're going to place one of these contest winners at each of the different hubs on the different islands, which allows everybody that starts to play the game, the first thing they see when they come in the game is some marvelous creation created by players, and then there's a plaque at the bottom that shows them the name of the person that created it, when they did it, what the contest was that they won. It's a way of getting fame in the game, and we're doing that a lot more. Later on, we'll roll up a world that is specifically tailored towards EverQuest Next. So the only things that you can build there are for something that would belong inside Norath. And then we'll run contests and promos there as we build EverQuest Next. We'll be letting the players also build extra stuff if they want to that might get used in a permanent fashion in Next, just like what we're doing with the Landmarks of Landmark contest right now.
So basically, if you design amazing stuff, it can be in our next major MMO.
Oh, heck yeah. Like, we're really serious. I mean, we're not relying on the players to make content for us, because that would be absurd. But so we have a professional team that is building the whole game and everything like that. But if the players want to help us, well, hell yeah. I mean, that would just be amazing. Because if we can go from being like 100 or so people on the dev team to being 20,000 people building something that nobody's ever seen before, yeah, that's the stuff. I mean, that's sort of exactly what we want to get to. That we want to be that virtual world that never ends, something that you're constantly exploring. You're always seeing new stuff. And if they want to build it with us, well, you're part of the team.
So the last thing, and Dave is very fond, I think Dave likes Indiana Jones possibly more than anyone I know, of saying that Landmark is a game about fortune and glory, right? So we've been talking a lot about the glory, right? You can become your creations can become part of EverQuest Next, but you can actually make money playing this game too.
Oh, heck yeah. With Player Studio, well, you gotta realize down the line when we have PvP and everything's construction oriented, and you could build your own battlefields and all that other stuff, and when we have all the dungeon mastering tools in, and people are doing scenarios and everything like that, they're not going to necessarily want to spend all the time putting together the buildings and the pieces and stuff like that to set up their sets. You know what I mean? And so Player Studio is a way by which all the people that are amazing creators and everything like that can create something, package it up, submit it to Player Studio, and then that becomes available to all of the other players in the game for purchase. So if those other players buy those things to use in their own creations, then basically every quarter we cut a check to the creators of those original elements, and they get cash. Every quarter they get a cash payout.
Yeah, and we've been doing this in some of our other games, right? And we've had some tremendous success with it. Like, I mean, one person made, I think, $10,000 in the first month on a PlanetSide 2 outfit, right?
Yeah, that was basically a texture.
Yeah.
Which was an awesome texture, obviously, because everybody liked it. What we're going to be able to do now, though, with Landmark is, instead of having to go outside of the game and use something like Maya or Blender or one of those other art tools to be able to build something, all the tools that you can use inside for Landmark are inside the game. So that means that a much wider base of people have the opportunity to participate in it, which means that we'll have sci-fi stuff and fantasy stuff and modern stuff. Like you saw the Chrysler building in that video, and there's all kinds of stuff going on. And well, it should just be amazing.
Yeah, and I mean, I think I'm most excited to see this stuff because we don't know all the things that players are going to do.
Yeah.
And our players are so creative that it's going to be awesome. And every day we come to work and there's 10 email threads of, did you see this? Did you see this thing someone did? Oh my God.
Yeah.
And that's just going to keep going.
Yeah.
So, we would really love it if you check out Landmark at landmarkthegame.com. Follow us on our social networks. If you want to check this game out, as we said, you can purchase a Founders Pack. They start at $20. That will get you unlimited access to the game. So you can start building right now. And come watch our live streams. Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific. We would love to have you there. We answer questions. We talk about stuff. It gets a little weird sometimes. It's a pretty good show. And definitely
love couch.
It's a love seat.
Love seat. Sorry.
And definitely make sure you check out our streamers. If you go to landmarkthegame.com, anyone, like some people who are streaming live appear on the front page of Landmark the Game. Check out those streams, watch it. You'll see some really passionate people doing some really amazing stuff.
Yeah.
We would love for you to, take a look and tell us what you think. So thanks very much, Dave, for joining us. Thank you guys for coming. We'll see you. We're going to be hanging around PAX, causing trouble. So if you see us, definitely say hi. And we'll be back on Landmark Live next Wednesday.
Landmark.
Take care, folks.
Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Matt Higbee. I'm the creative director of PlanetSide 2. That's me right there. And
that's my leg. What are you talking about?
I'm happy to be joined here by the most attractive, awesome couple in esports. Jeff and Anna Prosser, or Jeff and Anna Robinson, right? You're not a Prosser, are you?
I am not.
I'm not. You didn't take that on?
No, I like the cultural expectation that I get to absorb them. I take them in.
Yes, indeed. Well, we're here today to talk a little bit about PlanetSide 2, which again is the game that I work on, and you guys have been playing PlanetSide 2 a little bit. So we're going to chat a bit about what PlanetSide 2 is as a game. For those of you guys who've never seen PlanetSide 2, we're going to have some footage running in the background while we kind of talk over it here a little bit. But first, you guys want to do some introductions, talk a bit about who you guys are?
Sure. Yes. So we are, outside of her being super attractive, we work with Evil Geniuses. She does a lot. I mean, she can introduce herself, but I'm a former StarCraft 2 professional player. Now, more of like a personality, still very StarCraft 2 centric, but I'm a gamer. I'm a gamer at heart, and that's what Evil Geniuses empowers me to do. I'm able to go to places like this, meet fine folks, and talk with you, and get really excited about games. And we recently partnered with PlanetSide 2, and we're super excited to be playing it, get involved. It's a very community-driven game, so at least that's what I'm going to talk about a little bit. And just to find out about your guys' world. I'm really excited about it. Cool.
Yeah, as Jeff mentioned, I'm Anna Prosser Robinson. I'm perhaps most recognizable as kind of an esports media personality, doing some hosting and things for esports tournaments, but my full-time job is with Good Game Agency, which manages Evil Geniuses and the Alliance pro gaming teams. So I have a great time doing mostly media content for them. Anything that has to do with videos and that kind of thing is usually me working with the players to create that stuff for our fans to consume. So I'm happy to be here. We're really excited to look